Well, we're going to get this show on the road really, really quickly, but I do have a couple announcements to make. First off, thank you guys for coming to our last LA2M of the season. Obviously, we've had a pretty up and down season given everything that's going on, but I'm happy we're finally able to make it out here on Zoom, and I appreciate all of you guys spending your lunch hour with us. Before we get started, got a couple quick announcements that we want to make. Obviously, we have to thank our yearly sponsors, BDB Marketing Design and the University of Michigan Credit Union. We do have Corey Dunham here from BDB Marketing Design to say a couple words if you want, Corey. Corey, I think you're muted, so Roger, I think you got to unmute Corey.
Okay, no. There we go.
There you go.
All right. Hi, I'm Corey, and our company, BDB Marketing Design, can help clients with updating their website, their marketing messages, and also help to develop a consistent marketing message across their media. So if somebody's struggling to keep up with building their business, plus trying to keep their marketing resources up to date and current, we can help with that. So thank you.
Thank you, Corey. Guys, I have personally worked with Corey for a couple of years now and highly recommend and endorse his services. So if you need some help or some advice or some consulting, give him a call. We also got to introduce the University of Michigan Credit Union. That's the only credit union headquartered here in Ann Arbor. They've got more than 100,000 members. With all those members, obviously, the U of M Credit Union plays a vital role in our community's growth from both a personal and a business standpoint. They offer loans, credit cards, checking accounts, financial literacy workshops, and a handful of nonprofit community-oriented initiatives. We are proud to call the University of Michigan Credit Union LA2M's financial partner. For more information, you can check them out at www.umcu.org. Last and certainly not least, I want to introduce our speaker, Emily McGuire. Emily is the owner and chief email marketer at Flourish and Grit, which is an email marketing and automation studio. She helps businesses uncover hidden revenue in their email list by using data to better understand what moves customers convert. Her love of learning led to a master's degree in communication studios, which she quickly applied to email marketing by using research methodologies to understand best communication practices. And because of this, Emily has sent thousands of email campaigns, earning several million in revenue for her clients. You can typically find Emily with a cup of coffee in hand because she's a mom. And when her head's not buried in her laptop, you can find her chasing her toddler, reading a book, or binging trashy TV. Without anything else to say, I want to get us started and give Emily the floor. So please warmly welcome Emily to the stage. I'm really looking forward to this.
Thanks, Matt. Welcome to my office. So weird to see people at their homes, right? I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen so you can see my PowerPoint. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to talk today about killing your newsletter, which it can be seen as quite controversial to some people, but don't worry, I'm not going to totally trash it. Newsletters are very valuable pieces of content and methods of communicating. I just want people to rethink the whole newsletter process. So, because I hear from people all the time, they're sending out newsletters monthly, they put all this time and effort into them, but they're not getting results. So I want to talk about how to send out emails that turn subscribers into customers. So we are going to go over today why your newsletters aren't working if they are not working for you. I want you to reframe how you think about delivering your content through email. And I want you to be able to get your audience to take action from your newsletters. But before we start, this is going to be an interactive workshop. So we're going to be brainstorming ideas. So if you don't have anything handy, now's the time to grab something to take notes, whether that's a piece of paper and pen, open up a fresh Word doc or Google Doc, whatever it is you use to take notes. Now's the time to get ready because we're going to dig in. But before we do that, we have to talk about my favorite topic, which is me, which will soon be your favorite topic. Matt already introduced me, but I do own Flourish and Grit, an email marketing and automation studio. That is specifically what I focus on, is email marketing and marketing automation. And I use those tools to help businesses uncover hidden revenue in their email lists. I have some credentials, as Matt already mentioned. I've got a master's degree in communication. I'm digital marketing certified. My experience has been only in email marketing for almost 10 years now. I've worked with several different types of clients, from coaches to financial advisors to Etsy shops to tech companies to very large e-commerce businesses. And through that process, I have sent literally thousands and thousands of email campaigns and earned my clients over the course of my career over $80 million in revenue, only from email campaigns. And as Matt also mentioned when he introduced me, he didn't say this part, but I'm going to assume he meant this, that I'm pretty cool. I like to read. I love trashy TV, and I'm a huge coffee drinker because #MomLife. Does anybody do hashtags anymore with the fingers? I don't know. I don't know if you can see me, but that's okay. I'll pretend I'm cool. So I also want to talk about why email. Why is email so powerful? I assume you already know that because you're here, right? But in case you didn't know the actual power of email, I want to throw a couple stats at you. People on average in the United States check their emails 15 times per day. That's on average. So there are people who check their emails a lot more, obviously. And in the world of quarantine, the digital space is much more active. So that number might be larger now. So that's a lot of opportunity to get your brand in front of some eyeballs, right? People are 2 times more likely to sign up for email than engage with your brand on Facebook. That is pretty powerful, right? To get people to engage with your brand at all. But it's more powerful than Facebook. And email, on average, has a 3,800% return on investment. So for every dollar invested in email marketing, on average, people see a $38 return. Pretty strong numbers, right? So I have a quick icebreaker for everybody. If you want to pop it in the chat, I just want to know, during quarantine, what has been your favorite takeout restaurant in Washtenaw County? I assume most people, I think I saw somebody's you're living in Toledo, so tell me what your favorite Toledo takeout place is. I just want to know because I need some more tips on takeout. I'm getting pretty exhausted with my options. I don't know if I can see. Where is the chat? Oh, here we go. Ooh. Plum Market, Frita Petitas. I did that once. I got some takeout. That was my first takeout during quarantine, was Frita Petitas. Zingerman's Roadhouse. Yes, those are all. Plum Market's a solid choice. Oh, Arbor Brewing. Wait. Somebody hasn't done any takeout since quarantine. That is impressive. Not craving anything from Toledo. Danny wants Frito or Sweetwaters. I get that. Oh, all home cooked. That's amazing. Yeah, I've been really stretching my takeout options recently. So there are a lot of people who haven't done any takeout. Wow, that's impressive. Super impressive. Got a lot of home cooks here. Okay, moving on. So what's the problem with newsletters? As I already mentioned at the beginning of this, one of the biggest things I hear from people when they hear that I do email marketing is, I send out a newsletter monthly, takes all this time, send it out. People say they love it, say they love the content, but I get no traction. I don't get any actual additional business out of my newsletter that I see, right? So that can be super time consuming, right? You put, as small business owners and small teams know, your time is a very precious resource. And if you're wasting your time on marketing efforts that aren't making an impact, why even bother, right? So I'm going to show you an example of an email newsletter and sort of break it down on why somebody might not get some results from it. I'm going to start with this one from Duo Security. I sign up for the emails because if you don't know Duo Security in Ann Arbor, I'm sure everybody does, but just in case you don't, they are a local tech company and they do internet security. So I sign up for their emails because I sign up for everybody's emails. I might have signed up for some people in this group, who knows? They send out this beautiful monthly newsletter, and I have a huge business crush on Duo Security and Doug Song, so I'm not going to trash them, and I'm not a trash talker anyway. But this is the one I got in May. And this is pretty typical for the type of newsletters I see. At the top, they have this headline, super impressive. They got Margaret Atwood on their podcast, which I still need to listen to. So they have this beautiful article at top, call to action button here is listen now. Then they have the 2 more articles, 2 more call to action buttons, learn more, read on. 2 more articles, 2 more calls to action, read on, learn more. 2 more articles, read the story, learn more, are your calls to action. Another article, and then, oh, look, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more links. So in total, this email has 10 links, 10 calls to action, all to content, right? And in the digital world, we know that on average, people spend about maybe a minute on a website, right? So if we transfer that to other digital media that people can consume, we assume that on average, people might spend about a minute on an email when they open it in their inbox. And we know that people are inundated with digital marketing messages every minute of the day. So when somebody's scrolling through their inbox and they open an email like this, and they're skimming, they now have 10 choices, 10 decisions to make in that email about what they're going to do with that content. That is overwhelming. That is a lot of decisions to ask people to make. So they've packed this with 5 or 10 articles. Those articles maybe take 5 to 10 minutes each to read. So in essence, Duo is asking their readers to spend 30 minutes to an hour consuming the content in their email. On top of that, once we get to the bottom, their primary call to action to further engage with their business is follow us on social media. If I'm somebody who's subscribed to this email and I've been checking Duo out for a while, and maybe I'm ready to hire them to help me out with something, how do I know what I need to do in order to work with Duo in this email? I don't. The only options I've been given are to read articles, which is great. Content is amazing. It keeps your audience engaged. It keeps them coming back to you. But when they're ready to start working with you, how are you helping them do that? In this email, I am not being led in any way to figure out how it is I contact somebody at Duo to work more with them, right? So this is pretty typical, and this is pretty typical what I see with newsletters when people are telling you they're not getting results. They pack it full of content, article after article after article, making people choose between several equally weighted pieces of content, and then not giving me any options or instructions on how to work with that particular business. I'm expected to go on the website and hunt down that information, which is an additional step that people are not going to take, right? Because again, we live in a very busy and distracted world where messages are being thrown at us all the time. So take that in comparison to my good friend, Janelle Reichman over at Ellenize. If you don't know Janelle, then you haven't been in Ann Arbor enough. She knows everybody. She's a wonderful person, and she is a WordPress front-end designer. So she designs websites. I wish I could take credit for her emails. I love them so much. She sends out a weekly one that she calls Short and Sweet, and it's literally just that. At the top, she has a visual to sort of grab your attention, bring you in. She has one primary focus for that email, which in this example is cracking the blogging code. She talks all about that. She doesn't make you click through to access the rest of the information, because we know with every click in the digital marketing world is the potential to lose somebody while they're engaged with you. So she gives you all the content in that one email, and then signs off. And at the bottom down here, she says, just standing by with her little pitch. If you want help with your website, let's talk. So I know that, hey, maybe I've been getting Janelle's emails for a while, and it's time. It's time for me to work on my website. She's made it super clear at the bottom of her email with this beautiful call to action button that, hey, if I'm ready to work with you, I just got to click here, right? And then she leads you to booking a call with her. So this is a perfect example of information that is easily digestible for your audience, right? You make it super user friendly, and then you have a call to action at the bottom of your email that says, hey, here's how we can take this relationship to the next level, essentially. And then she has more information down here. If you want to learn more about Janelle and what she does, you can check out her portfolio. You can see what else she has on her blog, view what services she has. And then again, here's another option to go and chat with her, right? It's much more digestible, like I said, and user-friendly. So we're going to break this down on how you can replicate this for your business. So this is where we're going to start doing some fun activity stuff. I'm calling it fun because I think it will be, right? So it starts with what I find that people often neglect is defining goals for your marketing program, right? And specifically for each channel you use, and a campaign by campaign basis. So we're just going to keep it super basic. I don't want you to overthink any of these answers as we go through them. We're going to keep this super basic, and you can go back and refine after the workshop. So we're going to start with goals. What are the goals for an email program for your business? What do you want it to accomplish, right? So that can look like a lot of things. You could be looking for revenue, right? You might be actually wanting to generate revenue from your emails, getting orders, if that's part of your business, maybe bookings, maybe you take discovery calls, maybe that's what you want from your email campaigns, or event registration, or projects. Maybe that's something that you want to use to measure your goals for your business in general. Oops. But yeah, it depends. It might be registering for events, or booking an appointment, or placing an actual order. Defining that will help you then really understand what do you want your emails to accomplish, and how do you build them accordingly. So this is your turn. What is the primary goal for your emails? And again, this can also change email by email too. So just think overall, take a quick second or two. Don't think about it too much. I don't know if any of you have the problem, but I am definitely an overthinker. So just jot down a couple ideas. I'm going to give you a hot minute, which is a little less than 60 seconds. So I'm going to let you write that down, and then pick one of those goals and pop it in the chat. And we're going to sort of workshop all this together. Must know information. Add value and enroll. There you go. Grow email address list. Bookings for photo clients. There we go. Generate calls from potential clients, absolutely. Applicants, yes. All right. Yeah, grow email address list. That is, that's also an option. You can request people to share your emails and ask them to tell their friends about you. Share content, beautiful. So I see a lot of bookings, education, right? Adding value, that's great. So newsletters specifically to keep informed, great. Education. Amazing. So a lot of brand awareness, adding value, education, and then some very specific bookings, appointments, etc. Great. We're going to get into that. So if you have particular goals for your emails, that means we need to focus on what actions do you want your subscribers to take to accomplish your goals, right? Because your goal for your business, for your emails is one thing, right? Your subscribers' goal by subscribing to your emails and opening them is a different thing. So how do we line those two things up and make it easy for them to get the value add that some people said they want to do, and keep them engaged and educated and informed about your business, your brand, your products, whatever. And then how do you get them to take action with that information, right, to accomplish your goals? So what actions do your subscribers need to take to get to that goal, right? Just what I said. So that can look like, you can place an order. I didn't see anybody mention placing orders. Book an appointment, right? So that's the goal, or that's the action you want your subscribers to take. Register for an event can be another action you need them to take. Or view more information about a product or service. So if you are sending out educational content to inform your audience, maybe that is your primary goal, adding color around that education could mean I have a service that relates to this. If you want to check it out, here it is, right? And so that is an action you would want your subscriber to take. And then engagement, so that's the action. Some people said that's their primary goal. So you want people to open and click on your email, right? So that would be the actions you want your subscribers to take. So now it's your turn to brainstorm. What action does your customer need to take to get to that goal you outlined or you thought about? So just take another hot minute, brainstorm. And then somebody's got to open the email. Perfect. Yeah, and go ahead and pop it in the comments or the chat. Click on find out more. Perfect. Schedule a call appointment. Absolutely. Too many. Open an article, read article, then schedule. Yes. Call or email us. Perfect. So the thing I want to emphasize here is that if we're not giving our subscribers instructions on how to take the next step with us, we cannot expect them to intuit what to do, right? And it's very hard when you've been working, either if you're a business owner, if you've been working in your own business, or you're working on a marketing team for a while, to take that step back and see, oh, objectively, what do my subscribers need to know, right? You get so enmeshed in it, it's so hard to take that step back. So apply value, they glean, and when they're ready, call for services. Perfect. So you can also have that like as a little blurb at the bottom of your email. When you're ready, here's the phone number to call, right? Call one of our specialists. Book now. Perfect. Great calls to action. Okay, so again, we're going to move on to pain points. So what are your subscribers coming to you for, right? These are their goals. So we've talked about yours and what action you need your subscribers to take. Why are your subscribers showing up? Why would they even want to open your emails or seek you out? And that's because they're going through a particular challenge, right? They have particular pain points that they are trying to solve. So their goal is to solve something challenging for themselves. So what are those challenges that they can be facing, right? So we're going to break down some big pain points that people might be experiencing down to little ones. So pain points can include anxiety or fear, like especially in the year 2020, the year that will go down in history as the weirdest year ever, that we are all struggling through some things, right? People are worried about the economy, their personal finances, job security. And that can include several other things too, you know, Black Lives Matter and, experiencing violence in this country based on your race, right? Those can be all under this. But we also have to pay attention to current events and our current country's culture, but also how does it relate to what people experience in terms of your business, your services, your products. Other pain points, just stress in general, especially with a global health crisis, health, your family's health, safety. Childcare right now is a big one that people are experiencing. And then current events, right? You're stressed out about just all the stuff that's going on. Don't know if you guys have heard that there's stuff going on, but there's stuff going on. Yeah, stressful. Other pain points, resources. That's a very common one, especially with services, right? People can be struggling with time, their budgets, money, people resources, right? They don't have the people who can do the things they need help with. Expertise, they don't have the expertise they need in order to accomplish their goals. So those are just some examples. So now it's your turn to sort of brainstorm what specific pain points, when you are having conversations with your leads, your prospects, your clients, just people in general, when you're talking about your work, what pain points are people experiencing right now and that relate to your offerings? So do a quick brainstorm. Low on time, absolutely. That is a big one. Bad habits, addictions, absolutely. Low revenue, wearing too many hats, uncertainty of the future, for sure. Finding a job in the current market, yes. Classroom planning for fall, yes. Oh, I know teachers, and whew, I feel for them. Current images, since everything's locked down, yes. Photography, absolutely. Images for social. Unreliability of transportation, yes, that is a big stressor. Okay, so we're going to move on. Finances or being able to get help from agencies, yes. Money. Money is always a big one, right? That's pretty stressful for a lot of people, and particularly for certain industries. So we're going to move on from the dark times of pain points to solutions, right? So your job as a business is to then provide solutions to those pain points. So what kind of solutions can you offer, especially through email? So creative solutions, and I'm also going to call 2020 the year of creative solutions, right? Creative problem solving as we all sort of adjust to trying to navigate this crazy world, right? So content, we've talked a lot about that. Content that specifically addresses and tackles pain points. So that can be templates of things. If you can template something that your audience might need help with, that's always useful. Action guides, are there like 5 steps you can take to kind of thing. Tips and tricks, always. Reframed offers. So you might have a current offering that was doing well last year, and maybe you don't know how to position it now. So even just renaming the offer so that it speaks directly to your customers' pain points can have a huge impact, and also helps you maybe talk about it a little bit more easily if you're unsure how to talk about your offers right now, right? People are very hesitant to sell during a crisis, but if you can update your offer so that the language speaks to current pain points, it's going to have a huge impact. And then community focus. Also, during crises, we see that, again, people get really hesitant and sensitive to people trying to profit from crisis. So talking about your community and how you focus on your community and your business and how you can provide solutions within your community is very powerful and impactful. So that can mean maybe donating a % of sales within a specific time period to a nonprofit that directly addresses some current events. Or you can talk about how your business helps your community too, and offer your services as part of a community solution. So what creative solutions can you offer right now to your customers to help ease their pain points? That's the next question. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect, just brainstorm. If you've got any ideas about content or offers right now that can address the pain points that you just brainstormed, and then pop them in the chat. Packages and guarantees. Ooh, how to project trust and safety to customers when retail seems unsafe. Absolutely, it's great. Write an article on social distancing in the classroom. Yes, yeah, again, poor teachers, I can't even imagine. Consulting services so they don't have to make solutions. Yes. Just to let them know we are here for them and when they are ready. Yes. That's great. Crowdsource peer-to-peer solutions. Interesting. Switch to a fully digital platform to keep everyone safe. Absolutely. So you're framing that in terms of a solution to a pain point. Okay, we're going to keep rocking and rolling. So what does this all look like when we put it into action? So as you remember from the duo example, it was a ton of articles, a ton of content, right? A lot of choices you had to make within the email. How do we keep it super simple? Yes, Hassan, I just saw that one. Communicate my values, not just my value, for sure. That's great. So again, as you see with Ellen I's, their email example, and by the way, if you haven't signed up for her emails, do it, because she's also I'm going to tell you that she's also a jazz musician, and she started a separate newsletter where she is emailing out videos she's doing with some of her fellow musicians. They're doing covers. It's amazing. I love it. It's my bright spot in my week. Anyway, so as we see here, Janelle, she is cracking the blogging code, right? Obviously the pain point is there is some confusion about blogging. She spends her entire time in this email focused on one topic, right? Hyper focuses it in. And then at the end, if you are ready to work with me, here is how. Let's talk. So I have this like very, very whatever, draft, what am I thinking of? Wireframe of an email that this would look like, right? So at the top, you have an image or not. Depending on your audience, you don't have to have an image, but having an image at the top can grab people's attention. You can have that headline on the image or on its own in text. Then you talk about, what are your audience's pain points? This helps you develop trust with your audience, right? If they feel like you know what they're going through or can at least empathize, it builds trust in the relationship, which is crucial to brand building. Then a solution to that pain point. And if you have an offer related to that solution, you can talk about it here as well. And then having a call to action below, if that is relevant for that particular campaign. So the call to action could be learn more about this offer, or view more about this service, as some people said, or it can be when you're ready to talk about this more, or if you're ready now to talk about this more, here is how. Book an appointment, make a call, whatever. And then I also have at the bottom, because we want to keep this top area very focused on one topic, at the bottom, if you have any other offers or supplementary content that might relate and help nurture your audience, continue to build that like, know, and trust factor, you can have that below. So what this also means is, another thing I see people make with the newsletters is they send that monthly newsletter, jam it full of content, and people don't hear from them for another month. That content can easily be broken up into 4 emails sent once a week. So if that's been your structure so far, you can take one of those pieces of content from the email, pop it in here, and then put previews for the other 3 here, but keep sending the email out. I think we assume that people read every single sentence in our emails. They don't. And even if they did, the likelihood of retaining all of that information for a month is very unlikely. So even repeating the content is not a deal breaker. It can be done, and I do it all the time for my clients, and people love it, right? It eases your workload of creating campaigns to send out, and it makes it so much easier for your audience to read and digest the information. So that is a summary of what we've been talking about. This is what we talked about. We talked about defining goals, right? So what is it you actually want out of your emails? How can you make your content easy for everyone, your subscribers and you? And help your subscribers to take action. We can't, another thing we think is that by sending emails and making offers, we're being annoying or pushy. But the opposite side of that is when somebody really does want our help, if they're ready to work with you, you have to make it easy for them to work with you too, right? So offering that action step is helping. It's not being pushy. I don't know if anybody here struggles with that, but again, it's something I hear over and over and over again from people sending out emails. So you're helping by leading people down the path to work with you if they want to work with you. You're not shoving it in their face. So if one of the other top questions I get from people is what are good open rates? If anybody was gonna ask me that question, I'm gonna already head you off. So it's a very complicated answer. So what I've done is created an action guide on how to boost your email open rates, because that's ultimately what people want to know, right? How do you get higher email open rates? So I've got a free action guide. If you're interested, you can just head over to flourishgrit.com/open, and that's a freebie you can grab by signing up on my website. So that is everything. I hope you've taken some little nuggets on how to, again, make it easier for your subscribers to digest your content and how to actually see action from your emails. The end. Anybody have questions?
I guess I can just jump in here. If anyone does have questions, feel free to throw them in the chat right now, or if you want to remain anonymous, you can send them to either me or Leah.
Yay. Oh, I'm so glad it was helpful.
Emily, I actually do have a question for you. So
yeah.
When we think about like the duo email, I get what you're saying about having like too many calls to actions and you want to make it simpler, right? Simpler is normally better. But if you're only going to send out one email per month and you're not segmenting your audience, I sort of feel like you have to give them everything, you know? And obviously, like, you can really narrow it down and say, if this is the type of customer that has indicated through their preferences that they only want to learn about this kind of thing, then you only serve them that kind of thing. But if your email is just broad and general, I guess it's just like internally, I feel like there's value to giving them a lot. I mean, is that wrong?
So it depends on how you structure it, right? So like another way that Duo could reframe that email is just have that content at the top. Because again, if you look at it, people are skimming, right? When you look at any piece of content online, you're skimming. And people are assessing at the same time, how long is it going to take me to consume this piece of information? And so when you start presenting a ton of content and you're scrolling and scrolling and you just see article after article, to me, and a lot of testing I've done, suggests that people are just going to keep scrolling and not take action, right? So what you can do is put half of that content, if you're really stuck on this, try only doing half of the content and then the other half in 2 weeks, right? Or do 2 articles 1 week, 2 articles the next, right? Because the other thing is, not everybody's going to open your email every time. A pretty good open rate is 20%. So that means 80% of your subscribers didn't even open. They didn't even see the information. So that's another strategy to try, is just breaking it up and sending more often. So
that's a good idea.
Yeah, and that way you're also staying warm in your subscribers' inbox, so they start to expect that weekly email from you. And on the back end, and we're going to go into the weeds a little bit with the technical part of email, it keeps your IP warm, so that when email clients like Gmail or whatever are assessing whether to deliver your email to the inbox or the spam folder, your IP looks more safe. Because one of those measurements is how many people are engaging with your email. So especially Gmail. So sending more frequently, smaller bites of content, again, helps in so many different areas.
I feel like that's a few good pieces of advice you just gave me. So thank you. Leah, if you wanted to handle the rest of the questions, you can.
Yeah, there's 2 in particular. So the first one is using short videos and emails. Working better now than just prose.
So videos are incredibly powerful in any marketing channel, and they also work really well in email. They get really great engagement. They get click-throughs because you cannot play, and this is another question I get, you cannot play video in email. It's just not how the code works in email. Email code is very archaic. It's not the question you asked. I'm sorry. But yes, short videos work really well, but like switching it up and not doing it all the time. And then also making sure your videos have captions on them, obviously. Super helpful.
Okay.
So I actually have sort of something to add on to that. I've gotten like video marketing emails, and as Emily said, to sort of back it up, it always includes like a link to an external site where the video is hosted. Yeah. But the subject line of something that can be like very personalized, and that prompts you to open it. You know, it's like a personal video for Matt Aldrich or a personal video for your company. So like that stuff is still strong marketing, even if it's not in the email.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Insight on how to craft the best subject lines in emails and how to figure out the best time and day to blast them. So it's a two-part question there.
Yeah, so if you go and get that open rate action guide, I actually have a subject line formula in there to help you craft a really good, a powerful subject line. So there's a lot of tips in there because that's more, basically it's making it benefit oriented. So the age-old wisdom in copywriting is what's in it for me? So if you ask yourself that question when you write a subject line about your audience, what's in it for them, you're gonna see really powerful results. So, but yeah, there's a specific formula in the action guide at flourishgrit.com/open. I'm just gonna go ahead and pop that in there. And then when to send. I wish it were that simple. I wish I could tell you, send Sundays at 2 p.m. What I see is that a lot of people avoid sending emails on the weekends. But depending on your brand, that might actually be a really great time to send an email. The inbox tends to be less cluttered. So you aren't fighting against as much competition. So that's something to test and see. I also avoid sending, I can tell you what to avoid. I avoid sending emails at the beginning of the day because everybody's checking their emails about the same time and they have a backlog of emails and it's easy for yours to get lost in all of those unread emails. But sending around lunchtime is a good idea. And then in some sort of off-peak hours, so middle of the morning or middle of the afternoon. But again, it depends on your audience, it depends on your business, and it even can depend on a segment within your audience. I've done a lot of testing around this, and for one business, same list, different days and times worked for one segment and didn't work for the other. So it's a lot of tweaking, looking at your open rates, and playing around with it.
Okay. So this one, I'm going to say it in two ways, depending on if you're pre-2013 or post-2013. But what about an animated GIF or GIF?
I'm on the GIF side.
I'm on the GIF side too, because I was pre-2013 there. So
yeah, they're great. Throw them in there, but also make sure to make sure they're relevant to your content, right? Don't just put GIFs in there just for the sake of putting GIFs in there. If they can add value to the content. Something I've also done for myself in my emails and my clients is sometimes people need a little bit of extra instruction on how to maybe sign up for something, or you're trying to illustrate a point. You can do a screen recording of maybe that process they need to know about. In particular, like onboarding emails, if you're onboarding a new client or customer and you're training them on how to use maybe a portal you have, doing a screen recording of how to do that and then turning it into a GIF is really powerful also, including that in an email. So yeah, it has to be relevant and add value. But yes.
I think
Perfect.
I think we have the questions answered that we want, and obviously there's a great guide. So
Yay.
I appreciate
Perfect.
that.
Yay.
Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, I popped the link into the chat about where to go for the action guide if you want it, and feel free to reach out if you have any more questions.
Wonderful.
Yeah, thanks so much, Emily. Really appreciate your time and your expertise today. For everyone else that's on here, if you haven't had a chance to introduce yourself with some contact information and an ask in the chat, please take advantage of that so that we can get that sent out on our newsletter and on our social pages to kind of improve the networking opportunities. Make sure you reach out to thank Emily personally if you can. And also, if you want a copy of Emily's presentation, we'll be sending that out via email over the next one.
And for people that aren't familiar with Zoom, if you go to chat and you do the 3 dots at the end, you can save the chat on your own computer so you can access it more quickly than waiting for us to send it out.
That's a good point. But yeah, sign up for our newsletter at LA2M.org and we'll make sure that you get the presentation deck, list of attendees, and information about our upcoming events.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
Okay. It was great to see everyone.
I'm gonna